All right, Libras, welcome to your monthly Sidereal Astrology forecast for January of 2016. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to this type of astrology, do check the description down below because the signs are different. All right, Libra, so this month we have things kicking off with Mercury going retrograde here on the 5th. And this is going to be specifically involving your third house of communications. It's where you've had a lot of focus lately with the sun here. And Mercury's actually already transited through all of that third house. In fact, when he goes retrograde, he's going to be right on the cusp between your third and your fourth. So there might be some things that you're reflecting on at the very beginning point of this around the 5th in regards to your health, maybe your home or your family in some sense. But the bulk of the retrograde will be in that third, which is about how you communicate, how do you exchange the social energies, maybe rehashing anything you've been learning over the past few weeks. Maybe doing anything practical, learning more of that day-to-day stuff that maybe you've been focused on, whether it's reading a book or what have you. A great time to reflect on all that, and especially in terms of how you think and how you communicate. So with that, it's going to be very transformative. The sun is going over Pluto here. It's been a very transformative area for you over many years, and Mercury is going to go over that Pluto and then direct over that Pluto again. And if you want a little bit of information on this, do kind of think back to November when this aspect first contacted, when Mercury first went over Pluto, because in that sense, it could give you some inclinations in terms of what might be shifting in terms of what you're changing with your thinking and communications. So that's going to be the early part of the week. On the 7th and 8th, we've got Jupiter going retrograde in that 11th house of yours. So there is some reflection with maybe the groups or the organizations that you're a part of, maybe with your ideals and visions for the future, which is that 11th house. And there's a lot of wisdom that you've been gaining. But now with Jupiter retrograde, it's more internal wisdom. It's more reflecting on what does it mean to you personally, those groups or what have you, and really rehashing and redoing anything that has been expanding for you in that regards. Now, Jupiter does rule your third house of communication anyways. So there's a lot of this rehashing with your communications pretty much all month, and even in the broader sense, the next 5 months with this Jupiter retrograde. And so be open to changing and learning more about that, as well as maybe even changing up your routine as well, since Jupiter is who does rule your 6th also of Pisces. Now, Uranus is in that 6th, who is going to be squaring up to this Pluto and conjunctions with Pluto. So if there's something that's been sort of you've been thinking about changing or revolutionizing in regards to your routine, and again, this has been going over many years now, but especially over the past few with Uranus squaring up to Pluto, any type of change with routine so you can have more freedom in your daily sphere. Something to listen to with that, but take it nice and slow and constructively work on it with these changes with the more mental communicative stuff. So also on the 9th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius, so there is going to be new beginnings this month in regards to your communications, in regards to the social aspects, maybe new things with your friends or your peers, maybe even siblings in that regards. So a good time to reflect on any of those things, whether you've been thinking about writing a book, been thinking about taking a course or learning or whatever it might be, kind of sitting with it, especially because Mercury is going to be retrograde. And it's great to plant new seeds and to try new things, just be in flux with the whole thing with these retrograde movements. Now on the 9th, also Venus does go over Saturn. So your ruler here in the 2nd house has been, I think, quite focused on maybe the material values, maybe the financial stuff, enjoying the simple pleasures of life, which has been a very serious area for you with Saturn in that 2nd. So it's in a bigger sense, very important over these next couple years to really take the finances seriously, get that nest egg, that material security. But this month could be quite enjoyable with Venus going over that in a sense. So you can enjoy the simple pleasures while take it seriously and while work hard at it. And I think just naturally around the 9th, you guys should be feeling quite disciplined and quite reserved with your ruler over Saturn like this. Now, on the 18th, Mars does trine up to Neptune. So with all this motivation to maybe work behind the scenes or get that rest and relaxation lately over the past couple months, there is this easy flow about it. In fact, it could be quite easy to get that rest, that peace, that alone time with Mars trining up to Neptune. And maybe some of these ideals you've had about self-expression or your interests, or anything that you're passionate about. Good energy there to go into your 5th house with those things and actualize some of those ideas perhaps. Now on the 21st, we have the Sun going into Capricorn. So a shift here going into that home, family, and health sector of your chart going into February. So if there was some inclinations around that 5th time period, now there's a lot more focus and attention. I still think on the communication, certainly, but now shifting into the emotional aspects of life, building your security, connecting with family. It's always important to do that this time of year, and you can gain that energy, getting involved with those things. Now, like I said, on the 22nd, Mercury goes over that Pluto, so there is definitely changes happening with your philosophy, your outlook. Anytime Mercury goes retrograde, it involves your 9th house and your 12th house. So it's a good time to reflect on your spirituality, your alone time, your philosophical outlook, your worldview, your life path. Be open to changing all of that, specifically in regards to how you see things on a more practical day, on the more practical level, which is that 3rd house. And then you're very much in flow with these changes. Okay, especially again, changes with how you communicate. Now on the 25th, Mercury goes direct, so there's kind of this insight happening in steps. On the 22nd, you'll probably gain some insight, something that might need to change or whatever, but you're still kind of rehashing it until the 25th. And then from the 25th onward, there's much more clarity once Mercury goes direct. And then Mercury goes back over Pluto on the 30th, the end of the month. So it's final integration and final transformation in terms of what you've learned during this 3-week retrograde. Now on the 23rd, we got a full moon in Cancer, so there is culmination now, maybe with your career or your legacy or anything you've been involved with on the future level, future-oriented level over the past 6 months. So at the very least, you have an awareness of a lot of these career or big picture plans and goals, a great area to focus on around the 23rd and channel that energy into the other areas of your life. Now also on the 23rd, Venus goes into Sag, so you guys will probably feel a little bit more uplifted just because your ruler's in a much more transformative, deeper, watery sign of a Fucus prior to this, and Scorpio prior to that. Now shifting into much more expansive Sagittarius. In fact, we'll be going over that galactic center this later part of the month. So transformations for a lot of you. It's a transformative month for a lot of us. But here, I think you're really enjoying now maybe this transformed communication, this transformed outlook, maybe with the learning or whatever it is you're involved with there. And then also at the same time on the 23rd, Jupiter goes over the North Node, or rather the North Node goes over Jupiter. And both planets are right there on the cusp of your 11th house. So the key with this is that where there's been expansion, maybe with the groups or organizations or ideals, now your life path really starts to take on a new direction. North Node's going to be here for the next 2 years. And with this conjunction, which is around the 23rd, but pretty much this whole month and into February, there's a lot you're learning about this life path and these shifts taking place, and about communication and about routine, your daily stuff. So nice shifts there, and any insights you gain could shift you into a new direction with, humanitarian things, community things, group things, or maybe progressive things, whether it's with groups or otherwise. Now the last aspect or last transit of the month on the 27th, we have Mars going into Libra. So here in your guys' sign, I think there's this burst of motivation and drive, perhaps, going into February. More motivation, more drive, maybe things involving the financial stuff starts to clear up a little bit in a shorter sense. Also, the relationships start to clear up a little bit because Mars was in Virgo, not the best placement for Mars to be in. But now going into Libra, it's neutral, but a lot easier than Virgo. So on a general sense, you guys should be quite motivated and driven, maybe for the material values, maybe for relationships this later part of the month, but it's a great place to put your energy into any goals going into February. All right, Libra, so have a great month. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.